I had to survive 100 days in ultra modded Minecraft. This world is packed with crazy structures, new mobs, and insane bosses. My goals are to beat the new and improved Ender Dragon, grab the elytra wings, get a dragon for myself, and beat some of the 4 bosses of mass destruction. Make sure you watch till the end to see some of these insane fights. Day 1, I spawned into one of these new modded biomes. This biome looked really nice, but I wanted to see if there was any new structure or anything cool right around me. And there was something there. Whoa, what? Oh my goodness, what is this, a wizard's tower? I broke down this tree, made a crafting table, turned that into a pickaxe, and then mined a bunch of stone to get an upgrade. With these stone tools, it was now time to check out this wizard's tower. No! Oh, let's get the heck out of here, dude. While I was running away, I saw a chest on the side of this wizard's tower. This was just a beginner's tower. Later on, there are absolutely massive dungeons with crazy loot. Give me that. Whoa, okay, wait, I need to get down. These guys are not playing around. Please don't notice, please don't notice. Ooh, dude, get up, get out of here. After almost dying, I chopped down this tree and made a bunch of torches. There was coal down in this little cave. This world is absolutely packed with huge caves. So before I even explore those caves, I need to get fully geared up and stacked. Oh, village, let's go. Anybody have food? I promise, dude, I'll pay you back. Let's go. Ooh, let's go. I stole this village's waste stone, made a hoe, and took all of their food supplies. Before the mobs started to show up, I went inside this cave to grab a bunch of iron. I actually ended up stumbling into a cave, and with the iron I already had, I turned that into an iron shield and an iron pickaxe. I used the iron from this cave to make an iron helmet for myself. Then, while mining for a little bit more, I stumbled into a modded mine shaft. These are sick. What? Powered rails. Oh, these are awesome. Give me all of that. Let's go. Chest plate time. Look at that. Day 2, I made iron leggings, and while mining, I found a cave spider spawner. I tried to stay far away, but one of them poisoned me. Luckily, I'm good enough to take it out. Then it was time to leave the mine shaft with full iron armor so I could take on the wizard's tower. Now that I'm fully geared up, let's take the fight back to that little wizard tower area. Where is it? I'm coming for you. Anybody else? Anything here? Oh, I see you. Don't try to hide from me. Skeleton spawner. Chest. There it is. I knew I was missing something. You. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. I need to be careful. What is this? Whoa, oh my god. These pillagers had captured the iron golem. I stayed in the bottom floor chopping down these pillagers until it was safe enough to break the spawner and free the golem. The top floor was filled with witches. This one got trapped in cobwebs, but once I got to the top floor, these guys were way too much for me to take, so I jumped. I tried to take on this wizard's tower one more time by surprise, but these skeletons and witches absolutely ruined me. Dude, screw that place. Oh my goodness. Is my armor okay? We're leaving this village in the morning. Get out of here, bud. Let's get out of here. That was not okay. I almost died like a million times. While I was traveling for a new home, I saw something that looked really cool. Dude, what is that? Apparently that thing is called a typhon. The loot inside was actually pretty good. Right after that, I found something really cool. This was a spider cave. I didn't want to fight the spiders, but I took all the string that I could. Still, I couldn't find a place I wanted to live in. That was until I found this abandoned shack that had a brewing stand in there. I didn't even realize how many mobs had spawned. There were so many of these guys that I almost died. Good news, I found a village. Bad news, I saw a giant orc. I thought this guy was friendly until he started coming up and swinging, but I let this iron golem handle it for me. Thank goodness it was there. Day 5, I found a perfect location right next to the village to start my base. Before I even start on the house, I wanted to build a nice area for a way shrine, farm, and storage room. I put the way shrine right in the middle so I had a great spot to teleport to. Day 7, I stole more of the villager's food supply to make my farm even better. For the rest of this day, I decorated and lit up this entire base. Day 8 to 9, I chose one of these quadrants to be my mining area. This is my first time seeing a cave in this world, and they were absolutely huge. I also got super lucky since I got my first 3 diamonds here as well. After 2 straight days of mining, I came back with an absolute ton of loot. I also realized you can pick up things. I used all the diamonds I got from mining to make a pickaxe, axe, sword, and a chest plate. I was finally getting a little stronger. The rest of day 10, I spent building a nice little storage area. Day 11, I organized all of my chests and swapped out all these oak logs with deep slate tile stairs to make the entire area look a little nicer. Day 12, I planted my sugarcane and went traveling for thousands of blocks to see if I could find anything cool. And I did. These were huge pirate ships filled with skeletons. One of these guys even rode a dolphin. I built up to get a better look, but I realized I was completely outmatched. On the way back, I saw another wizard's tower, but this one was booby trapped. After I waited for one side to blow up, I thought it was safe to go in, but it obviously wasn't. I took down these witches on the floor above, broke their spawner, and even took all these books that they had in here. The next floor was was guarded by pillagers. I easily took them down, broke their spawner, and my reward was 4 diamonds and a bunch of enchantment books. I wanted to keep adventuring, so I jumped down and I found this really scary area. This sign was even saying danger, turn back. That made me want to go inside even more. At first, this place was only filled with skeletons and zombies, which were really easy, but then I saw wither skeletons. After finally taking out the wither skeletons, I got myself a wither skeleton skull as a reward. When I looked up, I saw something that was leading me to a certain direction, so I followed it. I think this was a soul star. It came into my inventory and I followed it for thousands of blocks. I thought this thing would slow down, but it didn't. I had to travel for so long. A whole day had passed and I was still following this tiny little star. I even saw an underground village on the way, but they didn't have anything good, so I stole all their potatoes and flooded their entire village. I was getting really close to whatever was at the end of this soul star. I even found this little dungeon with invisible skeleton. These guys were tough, but I ended up getting all their loot. Then I finally found where this soul star was leading me to. This is where you summon the Night Lich, one of the 4 bosses of mass destruction. I needed much better armor and 4 soul stars to even summon this guy. On day 17, I traveled all the way back home and went to sleep. Day 18, I lit up the caves underneath my base, mined some iron, and decorated my base. On day 19, I found a lava pool to get a bunch of obsidian. My goal was to go to the nether. This nether had a ton of new modded biomes, and I got one of the cooler ones. This was a quartz hail biome. The skeletons in here still did so much damage, so I went back home to enchant my armor. I used all the books I collected from the wizard's tower to make a bunch of bookshelves, and then I used one quadrant to be my enchanting station. The first 2 enchantments I got on my pickaxe and sword were absolutely awful, so I disenchanted them and re-enchanted them. This is when I got the perfect pickaxe as one of the most overpowered enchantments, vein mining. Day 22, I got a bunch of stone and spent the whole day trying to get a mending villager, but it cost 36 emeralds, so I went straight to selling sticks for emeralds. I even tore out this entire forest behind my house to grab more sticks. That's when a blood moon happened. That's when these undead show up even more, but I only had orcs showing up, which was a lot easier, but these guys ended up ganging up on me and did a lot of damage. Once I killed these orcs and the blood moon had ended, it was time to sell a bunch of my sticks to grab 36 emeralds. That's a pretty ridiculous price to pay for a mending book, but it was needed because vein mining is the best enchantment for a pickaxe. Look at this, it even works on crops. Day 25 to 26, I collected a bunch of spruce wood to start working on a house. I wanted this house to match the village behind me, but I also wanted all of the villagers to know I'm way richer than you. I think it turned out pretty nice, even though I didn't even use any modded blocks. 30 days in and I finally have a house. I'll show you guys how incredible this vein mining thing is. Watch this, ready? That is incredible. Find a mining system. What? Oh my, dude, this is amazing. What is this? Protection 2, Unbreaking 3. Get out of here, bro. This is crazy. We hit the jackpot. Let's explore the rest of this area. This is so cool. Every single barrel in this mining system was stacked to the brim with diamonds. More diamonds, dude. And iron. Let's go. I'm gonna be so stacked after this. I even got some really rare items in this mining system. Makes the wearer invisible while sneaking. Shut up. Dude, what? That's so cool. Zeus staff? What is this? Someone lighting at a target point? Oh, give me that. What are you doing? Day 29, I left this mining system, becoming the richest person in the world. Then I made diamond leggings, helmets, and boots and enchanted them. Protection 4, speed 3. Oh, let's go. Day 30, I put mending on my chest plate and combined 2 helmets together and then went to the nether. The goal of this nether trip was to grab a bunch of quartz to get levels and then kill some blazes for blaze rods. That's when I found these biomes called infernal dunes. These desert blazes don't even drop blaze rods. Also found really cool ores like synthenesite and nether ruby. Both of those can make brand new tools and armor. Day 32, I came back home to make a diamond shield. I also used these diamonds to make a diamond bow. My goal right now was to get protection for armor, so to get some experience, I stole this sheep. I also picked up his friend and bred them together. After selling an entire forest worth of stick, I enchanted my bow and got power 4. On day 34, I found an underground village where I stole their cows and made them my own. On day 35, I used the leather from the cows to make backpacks. I upgraded it 3 times, which means I could almost have a full double chest with me at all times. I then made a waystone so I could always teleport back home. Now that I was actually safe, I went out adventuring looking for new dungeons and structures. This wizard's tower was a little bit stronger since the witches were lower, and on the top floor it was wither skeletons. I hid on the side, slowly taking the withers out until it was safe enough to break the spawner. I took the gold as my reward, but it turned out to be a trap. This single witch was really easy to take, but I made a big mistake climbing up here. A bunch of wither skeletons jumped on me and lowered me down to 2.5 health. I had nowhere to escape, so I broke this fence and jumped. I for sure thought I was going to die, so for the rest of this day, I went traveling to look for something else. Day 37, I found this little ship where I almost died again, but from this Vindicator. I broke this guy's spawner, and then when I went to the top deck, I realized these guys' treasure was absolutely awful. It was just a bunch of garbage. Right next to the ship was another ship that I saw on day 12, but these skeletons were way too overpowered. Just one of these guys almost killed me, so I decided to run away. While I was running away, I found a pillager's hideout. I failed this bucket clutch and even activated a TNT trap, and still no pillagers in sight. I even started taking all of their treasures and freeing their villager prisoners, and still none of them even decided to show up. They must have not been home because I even raided their vault and took all of their good enchantment books. Day 39, I came back home, traded with my villagers, and got a sharpness 4 sword. Then I teleported back and built another portal to see if I could get a better spawn in here. Other than this cool radioactive biome, this portal was even worse. So I broke my waystone and kept moving forward. On day 41, I found this massive pillager campsite. There were so many pillagers here that these guys almost ruined all of my armor. But the real threat was this Vindicator. He was so dangerous that I ran up all the way on top of this hill and went back home. As soon as I got home, I put mending on my helmet and made a bunch of beds because I needed netherite. At first, I was getting really lucky, but this Soul Sand Valley and Quartz Hill was getting really annoying to mine. Before I could even use the beds, I needed an actual proper biome like a nether wastes. And while I was mining netherite, I broke into a nether mine shaft. This nether mineshaft had Pyrac, which gives you a ton of XP and gunpowder. I also got my first blaze rod here. After I was done with the mineshaft, when I surfaced up, I saw this crazy biome. This weird wither looking thing kept shooting stuff at me, so I ran away. While I was running away, I got my favorite achievement in the game. Now I could finally make netherite armor and potions. I chose to upgrade my pickaxe and my chest plate. Look at how cool I look. But that's not all, I even upgraded to gilded netherite. This protects you from piglins and looks even cooler. Right after that, I got a looting 3 sword, I enchanted my boots, and combined 2 swords together. Day 47 to 50, I promise I'm not lying to you. I spent 3 whole days trying to get unbreaking books and nothing. I looked through all the enchantments that these villagers got and not a single one of them gave me an unbreaking book. At this point, I don't even know if unbreaking's a real enchantment anymore. So I settled for these paper trades and made these unbreaking books the hard way. Now that I had netherite armor and looting 3 sword, I went back to the nether to look for blaze rods. I ended up getting a ton of blaze rods, mining a ton of pyrac, and then even getting a bunch of ancient debris at the end. I got enough ancient debris to make full netherite gear and then gilded netherite gear right after that. Look at how sick I look. Now it was time to take on the dragon, so I brewed a bunch of potions, grabbed a waystone, and followed my 2 eyes of ender. I saw this pillager outpost where I just freed the golems and went on my merry way. After traveling for a little bit more, I saw this really cool temple. This temple had pretty bad loot. And right after that, my eyes of ender broke. But luckily, I found a village with a waystone there. I couldn't find the stronghold, but I found another dungeon. This dungeon was different from anything I've ever seen. This place was literally filled to the brim with traps and puzzles. At the end of every single one of these puzzles, there was a loot room. All these loot rooms looked the same except for the final one. I wonder who built these. After I stole a bunch of books, I surfaced up and saw rainbow sheep. When I came back home, I realized something was really different. My biome had changed. Turns out it was just the season changing. Day 58, I got a new hat, killed an enderman, and then went traveling one more time to see if I could find the stronghold. I found this crazy village where there were piglins wearing mushroom heads. I then got my first totem of undying. As soon as I came home, I put mending on the rest of my armor and realized I had 4 soul stars. Day 60 to 61, I finally broke into a stronghold, but these strongholds were huge. This place even had trap chests and a whole treasure room. So it took me a whole day to find out where the actual portal room was located. I put a waystone in here so I never have to navigate this place again and then filled the portal up. It was finally time to take on the Ender Dragon. The end now is completely different, so I pearled to the main island and got started. I used my bow to take out these 2 end crystals when the dragon perched, and it launched me all the way in the air. The potion of slow falling absolutely saved me, but these endermen almost killed me, so I had to eat my enchanted golden apple. After taking out this last end crystal, there was nothing left but the dragon versus me. I used my powerful bow to whittle this dragon down to little health when it finally perched. Then it was only 1 shot to put this dragon out. The scariest part of these 100 days is that this Ender Dragon is the weakest boss I have to fight. I need this dragon egg because once I hatch it, I can get a dragon for myself. Right next to the End Dragon, there was a ship of the Valkyries. Now these guys are way too strong. Some of these guys are wither skeletons riding phantoms and the others were wither skeletons riding hoglins. My netherite armor was absolutely nothing to these guys, so I had to leave. I took the end gateway to one of the nicest looking biomes I've ever seen in my life. These things were called Aurora Crystals, and they were needed to make some of the strongest armor in the game. While I was traversing the end, I saw this giant structure. This place is used to summon Obsidiolith, one of the 4 bosses of mass destruction. I'm gonna come back and take him on later. Day 63 to 65, I found an end city in one of the coolest biomes ever, but this place had hundreds of shulkers and not even an end ship. It took me another 1,000 blocks and 3 whole days to finally get an end ship, but it all pays off since these elytra wings already come with Unbreaking 3 and Mending. And on day 70, I spawned back at the first village I saw and showed them all everything that I got. Day 71, I moved my enchantment table into the house. I also moved my brewing stand and a furnace room in there too. Then I built an area specifically for the dragon egg that I was going to hatch later on. Day 73, I made a bunch of fireworks and golden carrots. I did this because to hatch the dragon egg, I needed to defeat a boss first. This boss only shows up in the end and you need to do a ritual to even summon it. So I placed my dragon egg on top of this obsidian altar and waited as these end rods started glowing. As the ritual finished, a boss called the Eye showed up. This guy shoots a bunch of lasers and even summons little versions of itself. I used these obsidian pillars as cover and started shooting my bow into the middle of the eye. These guys didn't do a lot of damage, so I was very surprised. There has to be a bigger boss right after this. And right after it exploded, I realized there was. My egg was taken into the void dimension by this thing called a void shadow. Before I even tried to challenge this guy, I wanted to beat some of the bosses of mass destruction first. The first boss that came into my mind was the Night Lich, so I upgraded my bow and traveled for thousands of blocks back to its summoning place. I waited till the morning and put the remaining 3 soul stars into the 3 altars left. Just like that, it turned into night and this monstrosity started shooting projectiles at me. This was the Night Lich, one of the 4 bosses of mass destruction. With only 1 projectile, it almost killed me. The best choice I made was getting the elytra wings since I could take the fight straight to the Night Lich. This fight was going way too easy since I just started slicing the Night Lich in the air. This bow even knocked it down to the next level. After this critical hit, I felt invincible, but that all changed with 1 hit from the Night Lich. That 1 hit popped both my totems, so I made sure to never go on the ground ever again. Even though I kept the fight in the air, 1 more hit from this void totem almost killed me. But it's way too late to give up now. I still stayed in the air and got a really nice combo on this Night Lich. Then the final hit took the Night Lich out. This guy ended up dropping some diamonds, enchantment books, and this thing called the Ancient Anima. Day 81 to 82, it was time to take on another boss of mass destruction, the Obsidiolith. This boss was completely different from the Night Lich since it doesn't fly or move at all. It spawned from the obsidian from one of these giant structures in the end, and because it didn't move, I got to get a lot of shots in with my potions of strength and my sharpness 4 sword. After I got a bunch of critical hits in, it put on a shield. Now things were getting serious. I was getting launched by its attacks. Also, with the shield up, this thing was invincible. I had no idea how to disable the shield. I even tried to break some of the runes that it spawned. Thank God I got these elytra wings. After I flew around for a bit, this guy let his guard down. All I needed this boss to do was to put down his shield for a second. Now that I can deal damage again, I drank my strength potion and laid a bunch of good hits to kill this thing. It even spawned another pillar with some nice treasure in there. But I'm not done. I wanted to fight a few more bosses of mass destruction. While I was looking for the nether gauntlet, I even killed this little wildfire to get a molten shard. The molten shard can be used to get one of the best shields. Then I stumbled into the lair of the nether gauntlet. I should have prepared much more for this fight. These guys were absolutely insanely strong. These guys had a bunch of range attacks. They would even jump and punch you. I was eating my golden apples non-stop. These guys blew up all the blocks around you too. After surviving the first onslaught, I thought I would be safe enough to take him down. Once I got this guy down to his next level, they got even stronger. Now, instead of punching, they even launched lasers out of their eyes. At this point, I ran out of golden apples and my netherite shield almost broke, so I just ran. While I failed taking on the gauntlet, at least I could make the best shield in the game. I put Unbreaking 3 and Mending on this shield, then I went to challenge the Void Shadow. As soon as I entered this void dimension, the Void Shadow sent a bunch of mobs to come and fight me. I had no idea how to even do damage to the Void Shadow, and this Void Fragment almost killed me. But it all changed when I accidentally reflected this bullet into the Void Fragment. That was the first time in a whole day that I did any sort of damage to the Void Shadow. As soon as I figured that out, I spent the rest of this time trying to hit these Void Bullets into the Void Fragments. That's when the Void Shadow's health was low enough to actually challenge me. But my sharpness sword and my strength potion was way too much. After taking out one more Void Fragment, it was now time to defeat the Void Shadow. And just like that, once the Void Shadow died, it left me my Dragon Egg and a bunch of treasure. So I collected my Dragon Egg and checked what was left for me in the chest. There was something called a Source Stone. Beating the Void Shadow means I was considered a hero. That's the only way to get this dragon egg to hatch. I waited all day for this dragon to hatch, and as soon as it showed up, I fed it all of the orc skin that I had in my inventory. This way the dragon grows up as quick as possible and I can put a saddle on it. And just like that, my dragon had fully grown up. Day 90 to 93, I took this dragon out to explore. That's where I found this absolutely massive temple. So I parked my dragon down below and went to explore this entire place. This tower was absolutely massive. These spiders were way too strong and these wither skeletons were absolutely overpowered. But I've taken on harder bosses than this before. And as 2 to 3 days passed, I got on top of this entire temple and looted everything. Then I called it a day and took my dragon back home. Day 93, I named my dragon Le Dragon James and it just kept doing the spin move non-stop. Day 94, I made a dark enchanter and a dragon anvil and maxed out all my enchantments. Day 99, I set up an automatic firework launcher. And just like that, that was 100 days. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like and a comment. Let me know if you want to see 200 days and make sure to check out my other 100 days videos and my hardcore series.